Okay, guys, our recording is up and running, so that means we can start working. So it is recorded so that you can be able to revert back to this lesson later. So in today's lesson, we are going to be looking at a baseline assessment. And this one is aimed at is to help you to prepare for your assessment so that you know the level of difficulty which you are going to face, if you can use the term. And this is the KZN paper. And as you can see, we'll do everything step by step and we'll explain what we are doing. Okay. And remember, guys, during the course of this lesson, you are welcome to stop me at any point. Should you not understand and ask clarifying questions, I'm happy to answer. So our mics will remain muted unless we're asking a question. Okay. Yep. So let's go, guys. So the first thing I'm going to quickly have a look at is the instruction and information sheet. So this really tells you a summary of what is happening. So this paper, it will consist of 2 questions. So for this one, specifically, we have question 1, Q1, and we have question 2, Q2. And then we are told that we need to answer all questions in the space provided. We need to clearly show our calculations, so we shouldn't do a lot of shortcuts. And then if you look at number 5, you must have a calculator which is non-programmable. I think you guys are using those, so that shouldn't be an issue. And then if necessary, we should round off our answers. This is very important, guys, to 2 decimal places, unless they tell us otherwise. And then diagrams are not drawn according to scale, so we must always write neatly. So whoever is marking should be able to read your work. So I think some have doctors in writing, so try, guys, to sort that out. Some people become impatient when they are marking. Okay, so let's have a look at what is happening, guys. We'll start with question 1. So question 1 requires us to solve for x. And one thing I need you to note, which I'll say NB, is that what they are testing here is mostly grade 11 stuff. So that is what really the baseline is about. Most of the work is grade 11 work. So they expect you to know this by heart. So let's go and work. So the first question requires us to solve for x. Okay. So if you look carefully, what we are given here, as you can see above, sort something out. As you can see, what we are given here is 4x squared minus 9 equals 0. So whenever they do not use 2 decimal places, most of the time you will be able to factorize whatever which you are given. So let's think carefully. So if we look at the last number, we have a 9. And we don't have a middle number. So meaning what we are working with here is a perfect square. So we learned about something which is called a perfect square. So that is what we have here. So if you think carefully, what can make a 9 can be plus 3 and minus 3. And then in order for us to get a 2 or to get a 4 here, what it means is that we might have had a 2x and a 2x. When these multiply, they give us 4x squared, and this is equal to 0. And remember, whenever we are solving for x, you take one bracket, we equate it to 0, so we have 2x minus 3 equaling 0, and then you take the other bracket, which is that one, which is 2x plus 3, and that equals 0, okay? So we need to solve for x on both of these. So if you look at the left-hand side, we'll need to transpose our 3. So it will be 2x now equals 3. And then or on the other side, if you look carefully, we need to transpose our 3. That will be 2x equals negative 3. But remember, we are looking for x here, not 2x. So what this means is we must remove this 2. We divide by 2 on both sides. And you divide by 2 to remove the 2. And what you will see is that the 2 will cancel here, and the 2 will cancel here, leaving us with our x's. So what is our x value? So we're getting x is 3 over 2, or the other x, we're getting it as minus 3 divided by 2. Do you guys understand? If you do, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, please ask a question. Awesome. I can see we're getting thumbs ups. So that means we can go. Okay. We are still on question 1. Even on the second one, what we are required to do is to solve for x. Okay. So now once we see this guys here, very important. Once they tell us about rounding off to 2 decimal places, once we see this, what we should smile and think of is what? Anyone who wants to think of it, what should we use whenever we see such a statement?
Quadratic formula.
Yep, on point. So we should use quadratic formula. Okay. And remember, guys, what the quadratic formula is. If we have ax squared plus bx plus c equaling 0, what the quadratic formula says is you can find x by using negative b plus or minus the square root of, let's go down, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. This is what the quadratic formula states. So now, guys, I'll need your help. So we can clearly see where the a is. We can clearly see where the b is, what b is, and we can clearly see what c is. So when you look at what we have below and what we have above there, I need someone to give me what a is. What is the value of a, guys? In fact, let me start with c. What is the value of c? Anyone?
-2.
What was my question? Repeat my question.
-3.
Yep, what was the question, guys?
What is the value of C?
Yep. So my question was what is the value of C? So whenever you're in a lesson, you should focus. Okay. And then next, I need someone to give me what is the value of B?
+6.
+6. You guys are awesome. I need someone else to give me what is the value of A?
-2.
-2. So we can now go and plug in, guys. So our quadratic formula says we must have minus B. So I'm going to have minus. If you look at our B, what we have there is a 6. Then plus or minus the square root of, we are going to have 6 squared minus 4 times. Our A is -2 and our 6 is -3. And we are dividing by 2 times A, which is -2. So I need you guys to go and punch this on the calculator for us. So there is B, there is B. And I'll wait for you to give me the answer. That is A. That is A. And we have a C. That is C. Okay. So punch on your calculator, guys, and give us the answer. So you'll give me the answer when you put in a plus, and you'll give me the answer when you put in a minus. Okay. So let's go ahead. The plus or minus, that is what we are referring to there. Anyone, what X value do you find? And remember what the instruction is there in pink. What do we get when we put a plus, guys?
For the plus, I think X is equal to 0.63.
X equals 0.63. Are you guys getting the same answer? A thumbs up if you are. and you can unmute if you are not. We all should have our calculators, guys. You don't get in a maths lesson and take your phone and look. You take your book and your calculator. Okay? What is the other x value?
2.37.
2.37. Do you guys agree? Thumbs up if you do, unmute if you don't. Should all punch your calculators. Very important. Okay? Thanks for that, guys. We are done with this question. So the quadratic formula, we must know how to use. It's very important. The first question, even on your exam, will need the quadratic formula. Okay, let's go, guys, to the next one. Even on the next one, we are still required to solve for x. Okay, and let's have a look at what is happening. So we have x minus 3 equaling to x squared plus x minus 6 divided by x plus 2. Okay, so we need to figure out how do we solve for x here. Well, there's many ways we can go about dealing with this problem, but I'm going to take this approach. Plus x minus 6 divided by x plus 2. So we know that, guys, whenever we don't see anything dividing something, it means, or divided by something, it means that thing is divided by 1. Okay? So what we are going to do now is to do cross multiplication. Yep. So how that is going to work is we are multiplying this and that, and we are multiplying this and that. Okay? So which means on the left-hand side, we will now have x minus 2. The yellows multiply one another. That is how cross multiplication works. So yellow is x minus 3, sorry, multiplied by x plus 2. And this will be equal to 1 multiplied by 2x squared plus x minus 6. So on the left-hand side, guys, let's quickly do our multiplication. So if you do your FOIL, you will see that we will get x squared. And then if you then take this one and multiply with that, you will see that we will get 2x. And then if we take this minus 3 and multiply x, you will see that we'll get minus 3x. And then lastly, if we take this 3 and multiply it with negative 2, you will see that we will get negative 6. And this is equal to what we have on the other side, which is 2x squared plus x minus 6. You guys understand? You do give me a thumbs up. If you don't, please ask.
So can you please explain again?
Okay, so what we are doing here is what you call the FOIL method. So you take x, you multiply it with x, then look at the blue. So blue times blue, what do we get? So you see we're moving from x to x, so we get x squared. Do you agree?
Yes.
And then next, we're starting on the same blue again, but which number am I moving from? From the x, the first x. I'm moving to 2. Do you see that with the purple? And what is x times 2? What is x times 2?
3x.
2x. That is the purple. Then now I'm done with the x. I've multiplied the 2 terms on the other bracket. I go now to the minus 3. So the minus 3, I start multiplying the first term on the second bracket. Do you see that? And
Yes.
what is the first term on the second bracket? It is x. Yep. So I said minus 3 times x. What is that?
Minus 3x.
3x on point. Then now we've dealt with the first term on the second bracket. We go to the first term. Look at the brown. It takes minus 3, pushes it to positive 2. What is minus 3 times positive 2?
Negative 6.
Minus 6 on point. That is how we got that. Okay, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
No problem. So let's quickly collect these alike terms, guys. We have 2x minus 3x. By now, you should know that 2 minus 3 is minus 1. So we'll have minus x equals 6. And then we have 2x squared plus x minus 6. So now what we can do is we can take all of these things to one side. So what I'm going to do is to choose to take them to the other side, okay? Meaning we are leaving a 0. Then I'm going to have 2x squared minus x squared and then plus x. When we move, guys, what does this x become when it goes to the right-hand side?
It become positive.
Yep, it becomes positive x. And then I have the minus 6 from the other side. And this minus 6 here becomes positive. So meaning we have positive 6. So let's see if there's any terms that cancel out. If you look carefully, we have minus 6 and minus 6. So this term and this term, they cancel out. So meaning what we are left with is 0 equals, we have 2x squared minus x, that becomes x squared. And then we have x and x, that becomes 2x. So some of you are more comfortable when you write things on the right. So some of you are comfortable when you move the 0 to the right-hand side. So now we need to factorize this, guys, and then solve for x. How do we factorize this? X squared plus 2x equals 0.
Take like 10.
Can you please repeat?
Take like 10.
Like terms. So what we have is the term is, we should look for there's a term they use, they call it common factor. What is the common factor in this expression, guys? What common factor means is you see it on one term, but you also see it on the other term. What is the common factor here?
X.
X. So if we pull out x, what remains, guys, such that when we multiply back, we get the same thing?
X minus 2.
X plus 2 equals 0. So remember what you do whenever you are working with such things, guys, everything that is multiplying one another should be equal to 0. So that means x should be equal to 0, or the second term, that there, x plus 2 should be equal to 0. So we can transpose this 2 to be able to solve for x. So let me push this up and create some space, and then we wrap it up here. So what does this mean? It means that my answer is, one of them is x is 0. When I now transpose the other one, we'll have x is minus 2. You guys understand? If you do, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, please ask the question. It's very important that you understand. So if you understand, a thumbs up. If you don't, ask a question. There's no in between, guys. You can't be in between. Okay? I see lots of thumbs ups. They make me happy. So let's go for the next question. And remember, on this one, guys, we are still solving for x. Solve for x. And this, guys, falls under something which you did back in grade 11. And that is called inequalities. So I'll need you to listen to me very carefully here. Okay? This is what we call inequalities because of the sign which we see here. It's not equal to, a very strange sign. Okay? What we are going to do whenever you are dealing with inequalities, guys, I need you to note what is happening here. So the first thing I advise you to do is to solve for x. And these x, we call them critical values. Okay, these x values. You'll see your teacher writing CV. So whenever your teacher writes CV, when they are doing inequalities, all what they mean is critical values. So we are going to solve for x. But we always need to write at the top that these are critical values. It is very important. Then when we have written that this is critical values, we can then treat it as if we are solving for x. But that is not the entire story. We'll come back and see how do we deal with that. So equals 9. Okay. And then we can now transpose. But maybe let me write first this inequality here. Minus 2x minus 15 greater or equal to 9. And what we always want to do is to obviously have a 0 on one side. So that becomes x squared minus 2x minus 15 minus 9. What is that, guys? It's a minus 24.
Minus 40. Minus 24. Minus 24.
It's minus
24.
Greater or equal to 0. So what I need you to remember is that once you write CV, which is critical values, you can drop the inequality and solve for x. That is what we are going to do and solve for x. Okay, then we'll come back and do an analysis. So now, because I wrote critical values above, I'm going to just drop that inequality and then be left with minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. So now let's try and find x here, guys. I need two numbers. When I multiply them, I get minus 24. When I add them, I get minus 2. So time to think.
Negative 6 and 4, positive 4.
Minus 6 and positive 4. So when you say positive 4 times minus 6, do we get minus 24?
Yes, sir.
Then when we say positive 4 plus minus 6, we get the middle term, which is minus 2.
Yes, sir.
Right, you guys are geniuses, okay? So that should be equal to 0. And then as always, guys, the two brackets themselves must be equal to 0. So x plus 4 must be equal to 0. And the other bracket, x minus 6, must also be equal to 0. And then all what we need to do is to just transpose to get our x values. X is equal to minus 4 or x equals 6, okay? Now, after getting these values, guys, remember, these values are called critical values, what we found here. So we call them CV. CV is for critical values. After finding the critical values, what you need to do next is to draw your number line. So we'll draw the graph or number line so that we understand our solution, okay? So how do we do that? Well, what I'm going to do is to have just a quick plane like this. So I have two values. One of them is minus 4. So minus 4 is here. So I have minus 4 there. Then the other one is 6. So let's put 6 somewhere here on the right. Okay, that is x. So we should always look, guys, at the inequality sign. Whenever it has a dash that is like that, that means it is included. What does included mean? It means we should shade the circles which we draw. So that means this circle here must be shaded because of that dash that is under that greater than sign. You will get marks for this. Now, let's go and plot our graph. So for our graph, guys, I'm asking you, is it supposed to face up or is it supposed to face down? So let's look at the value of A. So the value of A obviously sits here. So that A is obviously 1. So our A is 1. So is our graph going to be option A or option B, guys?
Option A.
Why option A?
A. Because A is greater than 0.
Yeah, because A is positive. So we are going to take option A. So I'm going to have my graph looking something like this. Okay. Now we are nearly done. Now what we need to think about is the sign itself, the inequality sign. So the inequality sign says here, greater than 0. That is what it says, greater than 0. So we know, guys, that this horizontal line here, that is the y equals 0 line. It is the x-axis. Remember the x-axis, that is when you have y equals 0. So do you see that an x value, I need you to listen to me carefully, let's say of -2, will give us a corresponding y value which is negative. Do you see that, guys? The y value that is below the y is equal to 0 line, that will be negative. So -2, if we dot towards the graph, it will give us a negative y value. Do you guys agree? That is not what we want. Our sign there, the top is saying greater than 0, meaning bigger than 0. But if we take another number here, so let's say x is -5. Is x -5 going to give us a positive y value or a negative y value? Anyone?
Positive.
Positive. So if you think carefully, this means that from -4 going to the left, all the y values are going to be positive when we take x values, because the graph is above the y equals 0 line. So it's greater than 0. So meaning all x values going to the left will work as an answer. And then on 6, all x values going to the right will work. So what is our answer? Let's finalize that. Anyone wants to give me the final answer? What is the final answer looking at the graph? In the arrows which I put. So x values which are on the left of -4, those x values are less than -4. So this is one of the answers. Or the other one will be x values which are on the right of 6, meaning greater than 6. So this is our answer for this question. Do you guys understand? If you don't, please ask. If you do understand, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up if you understand the question. If you don't. Right, I see some thumbs ups. So making sense of inequalities really comes with practice and practice, so that you understand what are we saying actually here when we say greater than 0. What we mean is above the y is equal to 0
I
line.
don't understand.
What part do you not understand?
The inequality part.
Okay. So what do you mean the inequality part? Do you understand the CV?
Yes, the last part.
Okay. So I'll need you to keep your mic on. So do you understand how we drew this graph?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So do you understand that the x-axis is the line where y equals 0?
Yes.
So meaning that horizontal line there is the y equals 0. So meaning above that line, we have y greater than 0. Do you agree? Meaning greater than 0 above that line.
Yes.
And below that line, because that line is the 0 line, below that line we have less than 0. Do you agree?
Yes.
So our inequality sign, if you look at the gold there, it is saying greater than 0. So meaning we're looking for the part where the graph is above the y is 0 line. Do you understand?
Oh, yes.
Where is our graph above the 0 line? Starting from 6, going to the right, it becomes above the y is 0 line. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then from -4, when we go to the left, our graph becomes above the y is 0 line. Do you see that?
Yes.
So how do you write that mathematically? You say x is less than -4. anything which is on the left of -4 is less than. Anything that is on the right of 6 is greater than 6. Do you understand?
Oh, yes.
So if we took +1 as an example, +1 will correspond to a y value that is sitting there. Do you see that? An x, which is +1. Does this talk to what is needed? No, because they said greater than 0. A -1 is giving us a y value, which is what?
0.
No, an x value that is 1. Look at, so the 1 x value sits somewhere there. The corresponding y value will be below. So this would not work because they are saying greater than 0, and x is 1 gives us an answer that is less than 0. Our graph is below y0 line there. That was just an extra point. But do you now understand? If not, where are you confused? Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you now understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Practice will help you a lot. Do not worry. So let's have a look at the next question. Okay. So the next question we're given that this is the case. So given two equations where we have that, and we are required to show. So let me cut this and just focus on this portion here. We'll add the other one. So we are required to show that this can be written, show that 1/2 can be written as y equals 2x minus 2. So meaning these expressions are really the same. That is what we need to go and show. So let's think carefully of what is happening. So clearly, we need to focus on this expression here, which is 1 divided by 2 to the y and equals to 4 to the power of 1 minus x. So what I can see here, if I think about this carefully, I can see that I have a 2 and a 4. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is, guys, how are they related? Anyone? How are these related? If you look carefully, both of them.
You can change 4 into being 2 to the exponent of 2.
Yep, both of them are related by base 2. Okay, thanks for that. So it means we can make a base 2 and then work around with what is happening here. Okay. So now I need to remind you two things, guys, before we get into this problem. So I want you to remind me, how can we write 1 over a to the power of ms?
A to the power negative m.
A to the power of negative m. I need you guys to remind me, if I have a to the power of m all to the power of n, how can I write this? Should be what? A to the power of what?
M.
Mn.
Yep, mn
M.
is easy, guys. Thanks for that. Then now what I want you to remind me is
So
this.
you
I what?
so you can change 1 over 2 to the exponent of y into being 2 to the exponent negative y.
Yep, you're such a genius. You are ahead. We'll get to that shortly now. Okay. And then I need you guys to remind
is
me.
equals to 2.
Mhm. Okay, I'm not sure if they're cutting. But before we get to the problem, guys, let's pause a bit. I need you to remind me of something. If I have a to the power of m equals a to the power of c, what can we say about this here?
M equals to C.
Yep. What we can conclude is that M equals C. So let's go back to our problem now and work. If you look carefully, we have 1 over 2. Someone is muted. Unmuted, please mute, guys. Unless you're asking a question, just stay muted, okay? Yep. So a to the power of 1 over 2 of 1 over 2 to the y, this can be written as 2 to the negative y. And this will be equal to 4. We know 4 can be written as 2 squared. And this is to the power of 1 minus x. So if you look carefully, we can now multiply this and that, such that what we have is 2 to the minus y equals 2 to the power of 2 times 1, that will be 2, then minus 2x. And then what we can see, guys, is that the bases are the same. So what should be equal is the exponents. So this means minus y can be equal to 2 minus 2x. But when we look at our expression here, they have y as the subject, not minus y. So what does that mean? It means we must divide by minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So that means we'll have y equals, when you take 2 and divide it by minus 1, it becomes minus 2. Minus 2x divided by minus 1, it becomes 2x. So the final answer you can write as y equals 2x minus 2. And this becomes our answer. Do you guys understand? So if you think about,
Yes, sir.
yep, if you think about it carefully, it's very simple grade 11 mathematics that they needed you to understand. In fact, maybe even grade 9, it is that easy, okay? So let's go to the next question. And then they say, then hence, remember we're still working with the same question, and then hence determine the values of x and y. So remember, what we now have is 2 equations. What are these 2 equations? Well, what we just showed now is that we have y equals 2x minus 2, but they also gave us another equation, and they gave us x plus 6 equals x squared minus y. What we have here, guys, there's a fancy term of calling it. They call these equations what? Because we're solving for x and y, we have 2 equations. What do they call them?
Simultaneous equations.
Yep, fancy word. It is, as you say, guys, simultaneous equations. So meaning when you see a term in the exam, you shouldn't be feeling otherwise. All what they are asking you is to, as they say, solve for x and solve for y. So there's 2 things, or there's 2 ways how we use simultaneous equations. You take one equation, you substitute it on the other one. So now let's have a look. So I'm going to name my equations. Y equals 2x minus 2. This one, guys, we are going to call it equation 1. And then we have x plus 6 equals x squared minus y squared. And we are going to call the other one equation 2. So with simultaneous equations, what you do is you write one equation and make one of what we are looking for the subject, then sub in on the other one. So if you look at equation 1 has y on one side. So our problem has been solved. So this means we are going to substitute.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the equation 2 is mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to have a y squared here. Thanks for that. Yep. So what we are going to do is we are going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Okay? Because equation 1 already has been made as y as the subject of the equation. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this means now I'm going to have x plus 6 equals x squared minus y. Wherever I see y, I have 2x minus 2. Okay, So this means I have x plus 6 equals x squared. And then minus 2x minus minus 2, that becomes 2. Then obviously, guys, we've done this a lot of times. We need to take this to the other side and collect like terms. So we're going to have 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus x plus 2 minus 6. And if you look carefully, this will end up being x squared minus 3x, then minus 4 equals 0. So others just prefer not writing the 0 on the left-hand side. So now, guys, I need you to help me to factorize two numbers. When you multiply them, you get minus 4. And when you add them, you get minus 3. Very easy. When you multiply them, you get minus 4. When you add them, you get minus 3. Two numbers.
-4 and +1.
Minus 4 and positive 1. So when we multiply plus 1 and minus 4, we get minus 4. When we add them, we get the middle term, which is minus 3. So this means what we have is x plus 1 equals 0, or x equals minus, what am I doing now? Okay, let's say x minus 4 equals 0. So when you look at your x value, let me create some space. You will see that you will get minus 1 in positive 4. So if you observe carefully, therefore, our x is minus 1 or positive 4. Now, a question, guys, is how do we then find the y from here? Which equation should I use to find y that will make our life easy?
Equation 1.
So,
Yes. You can ask. We have a question. Okay, maybe not. But what we are going to do is to figure out what is y, we are going to use equation 1. Okay, so I'm going to find the y value that corresponds to minus 1. So look at equation 1. Equation 1 says 2 times x. I have minus 1 here, then minus 2. What is the answer here, guys? That becomes minus 4. Or I can then, so for this one here, what I'm doing is I'm using x is minus 1. So x minus 1. Then the other side, I'm going to now use
-4.
x is 4. So what we are going to do is have y equals 2 times 4 minus 2. What do we get, guys?
6.
We get 6. So we have x values that have corresponding y values. So how do we write our answer? We are going to present our answer as a coordinate because we are very smart. We know that coordinate means xy. So our answer is going to be minus 1 corresponding to minus 4. And what is going to be the other one, guys? And anyone?
4 is going to correspond with positive 6.
Yep. So 4 and positive 6. Do you guys understand? You can't take the one x value and say it will give you a wrong y value. The x value must go with its y value. So when we use minus 1 as x, we get y is 4. So remember coordinates from long ago when we were doing x and y.
Negative what is into -4.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay. So done with this, guys. Let's move to the next question. If you understand, give me a thumbs up. And if you are confused, please ask. You shouldn't say, I'm going to ask my friend. Maybe they will also be confused. So you should click the unmute button and say, yeah, I'm not sure what we did. Okay, I see some thumbs ups. Let's move. So next, guys, we have this question here, which is on the nature of roots. Let me me see something here. Okay, that is done. 1.4. Let me see if I didn't skip any question here. Just give me a second. But yeah, while at this, guys, I need you to think of what is happening here. While I check here, just think of what is happening. Okay, found it. Okay, I'm missing something up here. Okay, I'll probably fetch it later. Let's carry on with this one, sort that out. So let's have a look at this question, guys. So the question reads, the roots of an equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 are that where b is less than 0 and c is b plus 18. Then we need to calculate the value of b and a, b, and c. Okay, so let's go ahead, guys, and see what is happening here. So they gave us the roots. So what I need you to remember is that the roots of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 generally are given as follows. So when they say roots, guys, remember all what that is solution to the quadratic equation. That is what they are referring to. Meaning, in other words, this is a fancy way of saying x is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and all of this divided by 2 times a. That is the fancy way of saying this. So we don't know what a is, but we are given what is happening up there, okay? So we are told that what we have is minus b plus or minus the square root of 72 divided by 6. So we guys need to think carefully now, like geniuses which you are. So we can see that, okay, minus b and minus b, okay, there they sit, okay, and then what else? So it means everything that is down there should be equal to 6. And then it means that all of this which is inside here, when we do the nice maths, it should end up equaling to that. So using all of this, how can I find the value of A, B, and C? My question to you guys is, which value is easier to start by finding here? Is it A, is it B, is it C?
A.
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 You guys are geniuses. So what we are going to do is to find A. How do I find A? What do I equate?
You wanna say 2a is equals to 6.
Yeah, no, you guys are so smart. When I grow up, I want to be like you. So we say 2a equals 6. So we know that we are not looking for A, but, sorry, we are not looking for 2a, but we are looking for A. So I divide by 2, divide by 2. Then what is the value of A, guys?
3.
3.
A is 3. I'm suspicious the maths pass rate is increasing this year. Very smart people. So we have A now. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute back A. Then now I'm going to sub A back. Okay. So I'm going to now have x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared, and then minus 4 times my a is 3, and then my c. So let's think carefully. So they told us that c is b plus 18. So let's write c, b plus 18, like that, all divided by 2 times a. which is 3. This will be negative b plus or minus square root of 72 divided by 6. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to try and just simplify this a bit, and then we work it out again. So we'll have minus b plus or minus the square root of, what we have is b squared. 4 times 3, that is 12, times b, that becomes minus 12b. And then 4 times 3 times 18, what is that, guys? 12 times 18. 12 by 18.
216.
216 minus 216, all divided by 6, and minus b plus or minus square root of 72 divided by 6. So if we look carefully, the only thing that we now need to deal with, guys, is this portion. So this should be equal to that, because everything else is the same. Do you guys agree that we should just go and equate what is inside the bracket there? So that means we should have b squared minus 12b minus 216 equals 72. So let's transpose, guys. What does it become? When we take the 72 to the other side, we get b squared minus 12b minus what?
Minus 288.
288 equals 0.
Negative 288.
Yep. So you guys solve for x here. What I advise you is, if you're struggling with factors, just use the quadratic formula. It saves you time. So you guys use that, and then you give me the answers. So it will be x equals, I'll quickly write up the expression. Well, not x, but b. Solving for b here. Let's zoom in. So it will be b equals negative 12. Sorry, negative 12. Then plus or minus the square root of, just give me a second to be able to finish before you give me the answer. 4 times a, our a is 1, our c is minus 288. And then all of this is divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So I need you guys to give me the answer for the plus sign. What is b?
So 12.
So we're getting
Positive
b
12.
is 12. So I need someone else to give me the answer for the minus sign. What is it?
Negative 24.
B is negative 24. Okay, there we go, guys. That's our A and B. And what is happening? 2, 4. So now we have our B, and we can now calculate our C. We can now figure out what is C. But then we need to think, guys, for these B values, are both of them correct? But let's not worry about that for now. Let's calculate C. Because we have A. So remember, for C, we have an equation, guys, that they gave us, which is related to B. So for C, they said you have B plus 18. So now I'm going to calculate two values. So I'm going to start with B is 12. So C is going to be 12 plus 18. What is the answer? Then I'm going to use
30.
B. 30. Then I'm going to use B is negative 24. We're still using C is B, which is minus 24, plus 18. What is the answer? C.
Minus 6.
Negative 6.
Yep, so let's make some space and squeeze in our negative 6 here. Negative 6. Okay, so we now have our value of A, B, and C. So we can finalize these. So we can say, therefore, conclusion. So we can say answers. Okay, so this will depend. So we have two answers. So we have A equals, our A is the same for all. So we have A equals 3. then if I choose B to be 12, what should be my C?
Eight.
30.
30.
Okay, we don't mix things up, guys. We know that if B is 12, C must be 30. And then we show them that we are smart. We say, oh, you can choose the option of having A as 3. It's the same. And then the other option, you can have B as minus 24. But guess what is going to be your C? What is it, guys?
Negative
Minus
6.
24.
Negative
6.
6.
negative 6. And then whoever is marking, guys, will open their eyes very wide, smile, and then think of you as a genius. Wow. A thumbs up if you understand, guys, and a question if you don't. Very interesting question. The teacher will be saying, what a genius. And yeah, you'll be there wondering, what does it even mean to be a genius? Anyway, let's carry on, guys. I'm happy if you understand. You should always ask if you don't. Okay, so let's go to the next question. And that is question number 2. So we have 2 questions. Set of problems now is set problem number 2. So let's go, guys. Let's go, geniuses. When you go to class tomorrow, you should say, someone called me a genius, and everyone else will look at you as if you are crazy. You'll tell them it's me. That's okay. You don't mind what they think, it's okay. You identify as a genius. Anyway, guys, question 2. So your problem or your thing will also look more the same. So fully simplify following expressions, very importantly, without using a calculator. Why are they saying without using a calculator? It is because they think we are geniuses. Yeah. And even if you're using a calculator, you wouldn't get it anyway. So let's see, guys. Now, yeah, let's quickly rewrite this. We need to simplify fully. So let's quickly have a look. So we have 2x multiplying 27 to the power of x cubed, and then we have 2 over 3 there, and then times 2 to the x divided by 27 x to the 3. Okay, so guys, I want to remind you of a couple of things. First one is, remember this. So we covered this before. A to the power of m times a to the power of n. What is it, geniuses?
1.
A to the power of m times n.
Okay, I need to put a 0
M
here.
times N.
A to the power m.
No. You guys give it a shot. You are giving different answers. Someone has to be right.
A to the
A to the power
mn.
M plus N.
A to the power M plus N.
Yep. M plus n. You guys are so smart. And then that is the first one. The other one I want you guys to remind me of is a to the power of 0. Where's the genius probe?
1.
1. Wow.
Equals to 1.
Wow. Okay. And then another one, linear probe x. You are able to answer this. What is this?
A
A
M
to the
N.
power of
Yeah,
A to the power of mn.
A to the power of mn. So now, guys, let's go and cook. Okay. So what we see when we look at our problem, what we really have there is 2 things. We have base 2 and base what, guys? There's 27. 27 can be written as a base what?
3 cubed.
Yep. 27 can be written as a base 3. So it means our problem is a base 2 and base 3 problem. So meaning we should take everything and either write it as a 3, the numbers, or a 2. Okay. So let's go into that. So this means we have 2x times that 27 there is 3 to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3 all to the power of 2 over 3. Done with that times. Well, this part, although it's going to simplify, but I'm just going to write that 27 as a base 3 anyway, times x cubed, 0. So the first part that we can easily deal with, guys, is this bracket. This bracket is going to amount to 1. Why? Geniuses?
Because 2 to the power of 0
Because
is to the power of 0.
it has an exponent of 0.
Yep, you guys are very smart. So that is the case. So now what we need to simplify is this here. So now I can see that here it's like I have a to the power, it's like I have a to the, well, let me see. Something I forgot, guys. Yeah, let's edit. I need another genius here. We have a times b to the power of m. What is this, guys? Where are the geniuses here?
A to the power of m and b to the power of m.
Yep, b to the power of m. Very important. So in this case here, we have that situation. So we have 3. It is to the same power as what it is multiplying. So we have 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 2 over 3 times x to the power of 3 to the power of 2 over 3. Then now remember, exponents must multiply, guys. So let's go ahead and multiply them. So we have 2x times, we now have 3 to the power of 3 times 2 over 3. And then we have times x to the power of 3 times 2 over 3. So when these multiply, you can clearly see that this and this will cancel. This and this will cancel. So meaning our answer will become 2x times. You will see that you'll be left with what, guys? What is 2x multiplying now?
2,
That is not true.
3 squared.
Let me remove this x because maybe it might confuse you as that. Let's put dot here for multiplication. So what is 2x multiplying, guys?
3 to the power of 2 and x to the power of 2.
Yep,
Yes.
3 to the power of 2 and x to the power of
2.
Yep. So this means that we have 2x multiplying 9, multiplying x squared. What is the final answer, guys? What is 2 times 9?
18.
18. And then what is x times x squared?
X cubed.
X cubed. And the teacher will be so blown away. What a genius. So that is how you work that question out, guys. So do you guys understand? Thumbs up if you do, and a question if you don't. Yeah. The teacher will even start writing, what a genius. But I'm happy if you guys understand. It is the foundation that you need to understand in order for you to ace your things here. Okay?
Sir, question. Please can you, I'm a bit lost with the second to last step, the other side of the equal sign. Why did we put that there?
Let me see. Is it the step which is in gold here?
Yes, sir, that one.
Okay, so let's zoom in and see what happened. So on the left-hand side, do you understand what happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you see that the 3's will cancel on the exponent? The 3 will cancel the other one, leaving us with a 2 on top of the 3.
Yes, sir.
And if you look at the x part, the one on the far right, the 3 and the 3 will cancel, leaving us with an x squared.
Yes.
That is what happened.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Do you see it?
Yes, I didn't realize.
Okay, no problem. So thanks for that. That is it, guys. So let's go for the next question. Okay, that was point 1. And remember, we are still simplifying without using a calculator. So let's go to this one. This guy is in grade 11. What were you calling this one? There's a certain word you were calling this. It starts with S, like my name. What were you calling this?
Third equation.
Surds.
Okay, someone said I had a mail. What did he say? So we are still
The third
simplifying.
equation. Third equation.
Okay. Okay, no problem. So we need to simplify, guys, here. And let's go ahead. So what we have is 6 minus 2 square root of 3, and then divided by square root of 3. Right. And then this is squared. What does it mean? It means we have the same bracket, but 2 of them. What a genius. Let's create some space and then show the teachers that we are something unique. Okay? So what we are going to do here, guys, is multiply as if you are doing your void. So your denominator multiplies your denominator. So what is square root of 3 times square root of 3?
So
Yep.
3.
Okay.
But then the 2 is not squaring the root of 3, the denominator.
Yeah. You are correct. So the 2 is only squaring the top part. So let's quickly fix that, guys. And this is how we don't get to nationals. You understand what you are doing. You make a simple mistake. You get 2, how, when did this pay or over 300? Yeah, you get 298. And then just like that, you can't recall there. So the square is here. So this means this is the only bracket we are supposed to repeat. 6 minus 2 square root of 3. Okay. And then let's just divide by that there, square root of 3. So what we are going to do, guys, here, it is as good as void. So 6 by 6, what is 6 by 6, guys? 36. Okay, then we start from 6, we go to the last term. So 6 times 2 square root of 3, the 6 will multiply the 2, that means we will have minus 12 square root of 3. Right, then let's go for the red. We take this term, we multiply by it there. What do we get, guys? Anyone? Should be very easy, guys. 2 by 6.
Negative 12 to the square root.
Yep, negative 12 square root of 3. So let's go for the green, guys. Any volunteer? What is the green going to be?
Positive 12.
Okay, so positive 12. So 2 times minus 2 times 2 is 4. Square root 3 and square root 3 give you 3. So that is correct. It becomes positive 12. And we are still dividing by square root of 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and, yep.
Could you please explain how we got the positive 12 again?
Okay, where is the person who gave me a 12? You can give it a shot.
So I say that negative 2 square root 3 times negative 2 square root 3.
Okay, and then how did you know that that is a 12?
So negative 2.
You can give it a shot. And remember, with these questions, they say without a calculator, meaning you shouldn't touch it.
So -2 times -2 will give me a +4, and then the square root of 3 times times the square root of 3, the square roots will cancel each other, and I will get.
You will get.
About that. So I'll get a +3, and then I'll say 4 times 3, which will give me a +12.
Yep. So to the person who asked the question, do you get it? We quickly do a
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Right. So what they are saying is that if you have -2 square root times -2 square root 3, this one and this one, when you multiply, you get a +4. Okay. And then when you multiply a square root of a number times the square root of the same number, what you get is the number that is inside, which is 3. So 4 times 3, that becomes 12. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yep. So thanks for that. So let's go ahead and now simplify like terms, guys. 12 and 36. That will give us 40, what? 8.
48.
And then we'll
48.
minus 24 square root of 3 divided by square root of 3. Then we can now attempt to simplify this, guys. So we know that we can have 48 divided by square root of 3, then minus 24 square root of 3. I can hear someone punching a calculator. That is crime.
Take
You
out a
want?
common factor.
So you're saying we should take out a common factor. Okay, how do we do that? Maybe let me hear you out. What common factor should we take out?
So 24.
Take out 24, okay? 24 into what is left is what? 2.
2 minus the square root of 3.
Minus the square root of 3 divided by square root 3. So really, these things are not going to cancel any further, guys. You can either leave your answer this way, or you can just go where I was headed, which was just separating this 8 over square root of 3 minus 24 square root of 3 divided by square root of 3, and you're just doing this to just cancel this. Then your final answer just becomes 48 over square root 3 minus 24. And if we want, we can even remove the square root from the denominator, but I'm not going to go there. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the final answer is this. Is the simplification I want you to go and look at. And the final answer is going to be 16 square root of 3 minus 24. So I need you to figure out how I moved from here to there. That becomes your homework. How? Okay, done with that, guys. Let's go for the next question. Let's see, where is it? Okay, we need to simplify that. Let's go. So the first thing, guys, that we need to do here, we need to simplify, obviously, without using a calculator. I need us to talk about the bases. What bases do you think we will have here?
Set 2 and 3.
So we have a base 2 and you said base 2 and what?
3.
3.
No.
And 5. And 5.
Yeah, and 5. There's no 3 here. So it's a base 2 and 5 problem. Okay. So meaning whatever we see, we should ask ourselves, how can we make it to be 2 and 5? Okay. So the first problem that we see is at that 4. So let's go ahead. So what we have is 2 to the power of m plus 4 minus this 4 here is 2 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of m plus 1, all divided by 5. The 5 is by itself. That's okay. We have 2 to the m plus 3. So let's deal with the numerator. So I have the same base here, yellow and yellow. So what should I write as the final exponent there, guys? M plus 4 minus 2 to the what? You'll give that to me. Then divided by 5 times 2 to the m plus 3. What should this be here? What should be in that box?
M plus 3.
How did you get m plus 3? M plus
I said, since the laws of exponents say that if you multiply two bases that are the same, you add the exponent. So I said m plus 1 plus 2, which is m plus 3.
Yep, m plus 3. So done with that. That's awesome, guys. And then now we need to look carefully. Do we have a common factor here? And the answer is yes. So remember, let me quickly write this here. So if you have m to the m as n, you can write this as a to the m times a to the n, okay? So what I'm going to do is I can see the first term, I can write it as 2 to the m times 2 to the 4, minus the second term, I can write it as 2 to the m times 2 to the 3, divided by 5 times 2 to the m times 2 to the 3. So if you look carefully on the numerator, guys, we can take out 2 to the m. Then what we are left with inside is 2 to the 4 minus 2 to the 3. On the denominator, we can see we have a common factor also of 2 to the m, and we are left with 5 times 2 to the 3. And guess what happens, guys? The m's 2 to the m and 2 to the m cancel, okay? And now this is equal to, what is 2 to the 4, guys? 2 to the 4, what is it?
Sixteen.
Okay. So 2 to the 4 is 16, and what is 2 to the 3?
8.
8. Divided by 5 times, what is 2 to the 3?
8.
8. So 16 minus 8, that becomes 8. Then we have 5 times 8 here, and guess what? The 8s, they like one another, so they should cancel. So you'll have an 8 and an 8. Then the answer which we end up getting is 1 over 5. Are we guys not smart? Yes, we are. Any question, guys? If you understand, just give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, please ask the question. Very important. Okay, I see some thumbs ups. That means we are good. Let me check. Is there a follow-up question? Yep, there is. Okay. So let's go to the next page and do the next question. So let's add some pages here. So practice is really what makes you to become perfect in these problems, guys. It is really the deal. So look at what they are doing here. So, you know, sometimes when I look at these questions, I'm like, do the people who set these papers really think we are not smart? I become very surprised. So look at what is happening. So we found on the previous page that, let me think. Right. So I need you guys to think carefully and then work with me. So let me write this. So on the previous page, previously, What we had, guys, was that 2 to the power of m plus 4 minus 4 dot 2 to the m plus 1 divided by 5 times 2 to the m plus 3. This we found to be 1 over 5. So we need to use this now to be able to solve for x. So what do you think is happening here? Where's the geniuses? Guys, open your eyes wide.
So they swapped the sums around. Since say our final answer for the previous question was 1 over 5.
It means that everything there is equals to 5.
Yep. So what they did here is they just swapped, well, this doesn't look correct. Maybe this. They swapped the denominator and numerator. And they thought we are not going to see that. And we guys are very smart. We are able to see that. So if you just take what is given here and flip it, you will see that it is exactly what we had. So this means that the answer, our left-hand side, you look carefully, maybe let me write it for the benefit of others. That left-hand side, if you look carefully, it's the same as 1 over all of this. So 1 over all of this here gives you what they have, which is just that. What did I just do now? That, which is just that, and then divided by that. So that is what you were supposed to see, guys. That what they have here is 1 over what we found. Okay? So meaning this left-hand side of theirs here is simply 1 over 5, which gives us an answer of 5. So this is the left-hand side. So all what this means is that because we are solving for x, the left-hand side is just the 5. So we just have 5 equals 1 over 125 to the power of x. And I can write this as 125 to the power of minus x. So this is a base 5 problem, guys. What should we do to the 125?
So you're going to say 5 squared. 5 to the exponent. 5 to the exponent of...
Of what?
Exponent of x.
5 to the exponent of what?
3x.
Yep, so let's put 3 first and then put the minus x. And then when we multiply, we get 5 to the minus 3x. Remember, the other 5 is to the power of 1. So what we have is 5 to the power of 1 equals 5 to the power of minus 3x. And guess what? The bases are the same. Is the exponent that must be equal. So this means here, what we have is 1 equals minus 3x. But guess what? I'm not looking for minus 3x. My problem was me to find x. So I need to divide by minus 3, divide by minus 3. Okay. And then our x value then becomes
1. Negative 1 over 3.
negative 1 over 3. You guys are so smart. I'm impressed. Okay, that is how we find our x value for that problem. You guys understand? If you do, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, please ask a question.
So,
Very nice question. Yes.
would it be a problem if I wrote it as 1 over negative 3? Or it's just the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So let's go to the next problem, guys. Solve for x. And remember these questions, guys, without using a calculator. So let's go ahead. So whenever you have a problem like this, guys, maybe a question should be, what should we do? That's a question for you guys. Any suggestions? What should we do when we come across a question that has square roots and whatnot?
We isolate the next one. We just isolate the other root to the next, to the right.
Okay, noted. Anyone else?
We must first move the another equation to the right hand side. Then we square both sides to remove the roots. Then
Yep.
we solve it.
Yep. So the first thing we should do whenever we come across square roots like this, move one of the square roots to the other side. Then what do you do afterwards? Then square both sides. This you should do even on your exams, then square both sides. Then you'll be good to go. So let's go ahead and apply what we just noted now. So we have square root of x squared minus 53, and then minus 2 square root of 2x minus 5, and this equals 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to shift this one to the other side of the equal sign, okay? So that will become square root of x squared minus 53 equals, this will now be a positive sign, positive 2 square root of 2x minus 5. Now next, I can do my squaring. So let's go ahead and square both sides. So what you always do on the left, you do on the right. We don't discriminate. Discrimination is not good, guys. Do you agree? Yep. So we square both sides. And when you square this, remember a square always removes a square root. So this means we'll have x squared minus 53 equals, when you square the 2, that becomes a 4. Then the square root disappears. You have 2x minus 5. So we can multiply the 4 so that we have x squared minus 54, minus 53 equals 8x minus 4 by 5, that becomes 20. These ones must go to the right-hand side. So we'll have x squared minus 8x, and then minus 53 will be plus 20, so that will be minus 33 equals 0. You see, yeah, that is correct, guys. So now, guys, I need you to help me. Two numbers, when you multiply them, you get minus 33. When you add them, you get negative 8. Where are the geniuses?
11 and 3.
11 and 3.
Yeah, when I grow up, I want to be like you. So what do you mean when you say 11 and 3? We must be as clear as possible, guys. 11 and 3, what is that? Numbers, they go with signs. So 11 and 3, should I say negative 11, positive 3, negative 3, positive 11, positive 11, positive 11, negative 11, negative 3? What should I say?
X plus 3.
It is going to be what, guys?
X minus 11 and x plus 3.
X minus 11, x plus 3.
X minus 11.
X is equals to x minus 11 into x plus 3.
Yep. So if we then solve for our x here, guys, you will see that we'll have x minus 11 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. and we know the vibe. We always transpose. So our answer
X is close to X is close. Say, you muted yourself.
okay. Can you guys now hear me? Am I now
Yes.
audible? Okay. Yeah, it looks like someone is muting me here. They are against us passing, guys. We need to find that person and talk to them. They are muting me because they want us not to pass. Anyway, this is our last question, guys, and we are done with the paper. So now my question is, or the statement reads, the roots of a quadratic equation are given as x equals square root of 2 minus k, where x is between -9 and 0. Okay. Then they say determine the integral values of k for which the roots are rational. Now, my question, guys, is what is rational? What is a rational number, guys? If you have a sibling who's doing grade 8 or grade 9 or grade 10, you should call them and say, hey, konje yini rational number? What is a rational number, guys? Anyone? What are rational numbers, guys? Or how do you think we should answer this question? Okay, so let's answer the first question. What is a rational number first? Are you guys all clueless on what a
Sir.
rational number
Numbers are numbers which can be written as a fraction.
Numbers that can be written as a fraction.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, how does that then apply here? I see there's someone who's very surprised. I think their name is Takalo. What do you think? Did they get it?
It's correct. It's correct.
Okay. So it's a number that you can be able to write as a fraction. Okay. So that is what it is. So this is any number that can be written as a fraction. So now let's go ahead, guys, and figure out how then can we make this to work? What values of k can we put there such that you end up getting a proper fraction? Anyone? Any thoughts, guys?
I'm not sure about this, but let's try -9 and 0.
Let's try what? I cannot hear you. You said we should try what?
Someone is muting me when I'm.
Yeah, no, I can see that someone is muting you. Let me see if, yeah, you can give it a shot. Guys, please, let's not mute one another. It's not good behavior, okay? Some of you are muting other people here. So you can give it a shot again. Okay, I can't seem to get you. So what I'm gonna do is you guys, I need you to go and revise, not rational numbers really. Think about k values, which when we put here, we will actually get a perfect square. That is the first thing that you should worry about. Because then after taking the square root, things should work out properly. So the k value which you have should be such that when you put it in, you will get a perfect square. So that is how you should go and think about this problem.
Sir, can I try?
Yep, you can.
-2.
Okay, so when we do -2, we'll end up getting a square root of 4, which will be 2. Is 2 a rational number? You get the question. Is 2 a rational number? It actually is.
Yes.
So remember, I need you to let me quickly get something for you guys and just maybe put it up, and then we wrap this thing up. So there's a nice diagram that I have for you. Let me see if I can get it up the screen. Rational numbers. Right, this is what I'm looking for. So let's copy, and then hopefully it will allow me to paste here. Nice, here. So look at what is happening, guys. So these here are rational numbers, meaning if we can get 1, 2, 3, and all of these and get them to be decimal points, we will get rational numbers. So if you look carefully, if we choose k is -2, our x will end up being square root of 2 minus -2, which will be square root of 4, of which this is 2. So 2 is a rational number. So this works out. Anyone else who has another one in their mind? Anyone else, guys? So we can't use -9. Why is it that we can't use it? Look at the bracket. Remember
Because
that the bracket,
-9 will keep square root of 11, and square root of 11 is, I think, it's an irrational number or something.
yep, it is. But the reason why we can't use it is not because of that. We can't use it because of how this is. So the round bracket means do not include -9. Do you guys remember that? So we can't work with that. So that is out of the way. But we can actually use -7, guys. Can we not use it?
Yes.
Are we not smart? Let's go and
So we can.
k equals -7. So this means if we use -7, we will have x equals square root of 2 minus -7, which will become square root of 2 plus 7, which is square root of 9. And square root of 9, you guys know, is 3. Okay? So we have now these values. So I need you guys to go and find the rest. So that is your homework. Go and see if you can figure out other k values that will work. So that becomes your homework. Find other k values. Okay. If you do find them, then I'm going to be very happy, guys. But yeah, go and figure them out and see what you get. So I can give you one of the k values. Let me give it to you. Another one, I'm going to give you k. Let me think, is this going to work? Yeah. K equals -1/4. Okay. Have a look at what will happen, guys. X will be square root of 2 minus -1/4, which means we'll have square root of 2 plus 1/4. If you make a common denominator here, you'll have square root of 8 plus 1 divided by 4, meaning your x is square root of 9/4. And remember, square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. So this is written as a fraction, and you can write it as 1.5 as a decimal. So k is -1/4 works, guys, isn't it? So you can go and figure out others. There's a couple of them that you can work around and see what you get. So that is it, guys, with this baseline test of KZN 2026. So very simple questions, and I hope that you did understand. Do we have any questions before we leave, guys? The solutions will be sent to you, or you'll be able to access them via a link. Yeah, there should be a way which you will access them. You guys find this lesson helpful? And did you understand?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I heard someone say no. Please watch the video again. It happens. It happens. Is there any question that is general for me, guys? Any closing questions? Going in.